Hey everybody, welcome back to Eastbound Productions. If you don't know me already, my name is Jack Anschutz, and I am one of the year-round crew members at the Williams Grove Railroad. As some of you may also know, I've been uploading railfan videos for a few years now on this channel, but this video will be a little bit different than others. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you may have seen my posts about all the 2025 accomplishments we have done at the Williams Grove Railroad, and with this year coming to a close, I'd figure I would make a post about it. That post ended up becoming popular, and multiple people suggested that I make a YouTube video about it and go more into depth about all we did. So I will be doing exactly that in this video, starting in January and ending at the end of December. So sit back and relax and enjoy all of our road's accomplishments from this year. After all the Christmas festivities, work began at the railroad right after the new year. This consisted of the construction of our new gift shop, which some of you may remember as the old museum. At the end of 2024, the collection in the museum, drywall, lights, and pretty much everything else was torn out from the inside, and the coming weekends during the month of January saw the installation of brand new drywall all inside and even the purchase of a gumball machine. January also brought us a quote-unquote nice snowstorm, which did make for some cool pictures, but the work weekends of January mostly consisted of working on the gift shop to have it ready for the 2025 season. While the beginning of the month of February was pretty similar to the month of January, later in the month would see a huge progress go on the gift shop. But for now, let's stick to the beginning of the month. We continued working on the gift shop, and the installation of lights, drywall, and brand new doors was completed, and the vision of the gift shop was finally becoming true. Preparations also began to display and advertise our railroad at the NRHS Harrisburg Train Show coming up in March. When I wasn't at the railroad, I was working on my HO scale PRR 643, which yes isn't exactly like the real 643, but I'd figure I would have some fun with it. Going back over to the railroad later in the month saw a huge progress go on the gift shop, which included the walls being painted, doors being painted, a purchase in a desk, TV, heater and AC, and flooring being added. Also going over to the steam locomotive side of things, the Banshee that we had purchased was getting prepared for use on 643. The beginning of March started off with us displaying and advertising our railroad at the NRHS Harrisburg Train Show. We also began preparing our new souvenirs the week prior, which we had for sale for the first time at the train show before being put in the gift shop. Another crew member and I had our HO scale 643s out for display as well, with his having the passenger consist behind it and mine having our freight consist behind it. In addition to that, we also had 643's Lunkenheimer 3-chime and the Banshee on display. It was a great turnout, and people enjoyed seeing the new displays and souvenirs we had out for display. The next few weeks saw us preparing for the upcoming 2025 season, which included cleaning our N5 cabooses windows, wiping the winter grime off of 643, preparing the gift shop for opening day, and of course some shenanigans were had. Over the next week, 643 was also prepared for overhaul work to begin, which consisted of removing the smokebox front and door and any other components that were needed to repair for the removal of the flues. Work along the track also began to clear any brush or trash along the line that collected over the winter season. The month of April was honestly probably our busiest month besides May. We started off by running our first trains of the 2025 season for ABC 27 Springfest, and these photos are not mine, so credits go to the original owner. Our opening day was a huge success, and the opening of our gift shop was also a success. There was also a period of track work during April, which mostly included laying ties in place to prepare for rail in the next few months, but the rest of the month saw a huge amount of work being done on 643, which included the removal of the old flues, cleaning out the inside of the boiler during the point where some of the flues were taken out and we could give the inside of the boiler a good wash down, and then the brand new flues were added. In addition to that, smokebox work was also done, as well as replacing the bottom half all around the inside of the tender tank due to years of corrosion. Later in the month, the station also started being painted in preparation for the summer high season. Wood planks were also added to our flat car, and then we hosted our Easter trains, which were a huge success. The month of May was honestly our most impactful but interesting month. Work began on putting 643 back together, and preparation to paint the tender also started. The inside of the tender bunker was fully painted, and the exterior of the tender was also painted. But the main focus was trying to have 643 put back together to have her boiler tested in hopes of having her run for spring show. So the week before spring show, she was put back together, cleaned up, and a fire was lit, and all that was needed was pressure to rise and a boiler inspector's approval. And on Friday, May 16th, after a 2-month overhaul, Pennsylvania Road 643 was returned to service with the approval of the boiler inspector and had multiple successful test runs that afternoon and ran the next 2 days for spring show and was officially back in service, and steam was a go for the 2025 season. After spring show, work began on 643's running gear to polish it and have the tender's paint be complete for next month's train show. The month of June had us officially begin running flea market trips every other Sunday with 52, and us temporarily moving our station down on the siding while the track down by the actual station was out of service due to the carousel house being moved across our track from the old amusement park. We also finished painting the entire tender, and the final touches and lettering were being applied, and it was looking like we were going to have a very fresh looking 643 for train show. The station was also finished being painted, and a shelter was installed over the new exit out of the gift shop. Over the next week saw a lot of exciting things happening, including Jetto Cole 85 sporting 643's Lunkenheimer, and the approval to put 643 back in a more accurate Penske livery, which included all black handrails on the tender, cab, and locomotive, repainting the number plate, and painting the running boards from white back to black. And later that week, she was taken out in the sun to get a wash down and to show off her new look for the first time. And then that Saturday, she was fired up once again with Reading 2102 6 chime to pull a freight train and do run-bys in the afternoon, and the next day, the same process was repeated, and she pulled the normal excursions the next day. And the month concluded with brushing out the flues, cleaning out the smoke box, the removal of boiler and mud grain plugs since she would not run again until August. The beginning of July, we began preparing tie plates for use on the new track extension, and we also gave our flat car a new paint job, and then we did 4th of July trains the next Sunday. We then took apart 643 cylinder cocks and worked on the cylinder drain valves, which had been damaged by dirt and debris over the years, which was resulting in a faulty closure. We then relapped and reinstalled the valves, hoping to fix the issue. After that, it was a more quiet month while we were running 52 for the flea market trains and then preparing tie plates for use, until the last weekend where 643's boiler and mud ring plugs were installed, coal was filled in the tender, and we brought her outside to be washed. Forgot to mention we also purchased a new speeder car, which was a great way to close out the month. The month of August was a very interesting but busy month. The first day of August was the first day of the Alice Chalmers show, and we ran 52 that day, and we also laid brand new stone around the engine house to make for a better path. We then lit off 643 at 3 a.m. sharp the next morning and had her running all day for the Alice Chalmers show. We even had her pulling a 7-car mixed rate, which is the longest train she's pulled in years. After the Alice Chalmers show, the N5 caboose started to get painted, with the cupola being painted first, going from a yellow cupola to a black cupola. A huge amount of progress was done with the track as well, with more ties and rails being laid out, and then the cupola on the N5 was finished, and then next Saturday, we painted the entire caboose and then prepared for our big annual steam show, going to next Friday, where we warmed up 643 for the next day, and then we were up bright and early to bring her to life with a nice polished fresh out of the shop bell. And she ran great all day until, unfortunately, that evening 643 suffered a broken spring, which had her out of action for the rest of the evening and what seemed like the next day, but we had a new part fabricated and the spring put back together, and 643 fired up and leaving the engine house under her own power in less than 24 hours, which was a great way to end the first weekend of Steam Show. Throughout the week, we ran speeder trips and finished the lettering on the N5, putting it into a Bio War Bonds paint scheme. And then that Friday, we fired up 643 around sunrise to have her running for the afternoon and the rest of the weekend sporting the Banshee for the first time. Unfortunately, another spring broke that evening, and the repair and the new part would take too long to have any steam back for the remainder of Steam Show. So 52 had to take over trains for the rest of the Steam Show, leading to a more disappointing end to August. While the end of August may have been a little bit disappointing, we found a way to start September on a high note. We put some battery-powered light bulbs in the 643's marker lights and headlight to have her lit up at night, and work began on 643 right after Steam Show was over. We got the broken spring hanger removed and 643 up in the air with jacks, and we awaited her new part. During our Speranza show, we had a new rider ride our railroad, and that rider was a tortoise. Yes, a tortoise, making him the first tortoise to ride our train. We then started making designs for our brand new shirts and made a huge amount of progress on the track, including clearing out trees, clearing out the new right-of-way, and laying out more ties and rail, and preparing to spike it and align it next month. October is honestly one of our railroad's favorite months since we can go all out with Halloween, but a lot of things happened before Halloween. We first made a brand new stack vent for our N5 caboose, which is more accurate to what would have had while serving the Pennsy. And we also set up new lighting around our station, but the most exciting part of October was 643's new part being completed and installing it. On October 15th, 643 was back on the rails, and we brought her down to the station to 52 to make sure the new spring hanger set right and flexed correctly. Everything looked good, so we put 643 back in the engine house and got her ready just in case the temperature would be good enough to run steam. Unfortunately, it got a little too cold for us to comfortably fill 643 with water and leave it overnight. But we still had a great time in 52, and we began constructing our new haunted house in a haunted coal mine style, which was a huge success, and we also decorated locomotives, and once again, more shenanigans were had. We did horn toots on Friday evening with 52, and ran excursions Saturday and Sunday of Fall Fest, which was a success, closing out October in very good terms. The first weekend of November started off by us winterizing 643, which included removing all the boiler and muttering plugs, completely clearing out the tender and washing out the inside of it, and doing our boiler wash, and cleaning out the inside of the smoke box. The next week we pretty much moved around almost every single piece of equipment we have to put together the consist for our Christmas trains. Leading a little bit more away from the railroad, I took 643's Lonergan 3 chime, also known as her steel mill whistle, home with me to be polished and shined for the 2026 season. And then preparation and decorating for the Christmas train started, and I also took measurements of 643's builder plates to begin making wooden replicas to sell for a limited time for her 125th birthday. We continued decorating, and we closed out November in a, very Christmassy way. After Thanksgiving, we keep on decorating the railroad for Christmas with 643, the station, 52, and the entire consist being decorated. Sliding back over to the Lonergan, over the month I made some progress on cleaning it up as well as working on the replica wooden builder's plates. Jumping over to the track extension, the extension is almost ready to run on, just needing to be leveled, ballasted, and other minor things done. And jumping back to the road, it's the day of our first Christmas trains, and we bring 643 down to display on the siding to do something a little different than the previous year. We have our 2 weekends of Christmas trains, which were a huge success, and with that, our 2025 season comes to an end. I thank you all very much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed, and I apologize if some of the speaking parts are not the best, as it's my first time ever doing a video like this. So please let me know what you think in the comments. Also, please keep an eye on our Facebook and Instagram page for any updates, as we have some big plans in store for the 2026 season. I thank you all for watching, and don't forget, legends never die, they keep on steaming.